Hi everyone, and welcome back. In this video, we're continuing our chakra series, and today we're dealing with the solar plexus.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. And sorry, it's been a while since we've done one of these. Got busy with a few other things, but we're back on track again. So we're going to finish out the chakra series here, and then move on. But yeah, today's solar plexus, huge, big one. Solar plexus because it's the sun. You know, it's our core. It's your individuality. It's your self-identity. It's
Right, absolutely.
and your social identity. I mean, it's everything that you are. You know, we talk about chi energy and things of that nature, and that's where it's all. That's the core that it's all coming from. I mean, that's what it is. Without your sun, you're nothing. You know, it's your ego. It's okay. And we'll get into the ego a little later, but it's the thing that makes everything. As far as accomplishments go, individualized to you. It's the reason that you get up and move and do anything. It's demonstration.
Right, right.
It's Leo. It's creative expression. It's the ruler of the fifth house. I mean, it's everything. Everything comes from the sun. So, and most people don't realize that. The moon is a reflection of the sun. The planets are a reflection of the sun. And a refraction of the sun.
Right.
So the sun is the core of everything, including the solar system. And in the human body, that's kind of what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You think of your body as like a smaller version of the solar system. The sun is what everything radiates from. I mean, it radiates, charges everything in the body. So it is unbelievably important.
Okay.
Yeah, all the aspects that we have.
Mm-hmm.
And it is individuality.
Mm-hmm.
It's what makes me not you and you not me or anybody else.
Right.
And it's in everything. It's what makes the table not the floor. It's all of that. It's all that good stuff. And it's fire. And it's one of two of the chakras that only have one sign associated with it. And it's fire sign. It's Leo.
Mm-hmm.
The only one, except the moon, which is a direct reflection of the sun for us.
Right.
So it's unbelievably powerful and important. Let's talk about it. Solar plexus chakra. Manipura is the Hindu name or Indian name of it. So it does have an Indian name. Again, its location is the solar plexus. Everybody knows the solar plexus because if you've ever hit your solar plexus, your lung seize up. You do one of those numbers and you can't really move or do anything until you get it back. And anybody who's been on a swing and shot off and landed flat knows that feeling.
Absolutely, yeah.
So we all know where it is. Okay, the endocrine gland associated with it is the pancreas. The planet association is the sun. The Amashaspenta angelic association is Kashatha Verya. Okay, the element is fire and the color is yellow. Okay, and let's start with the color. Okay, yellow symbolizes happiness, enlightenment, freshness, optimism, energy, loyalty, creativity. Okay. You want it vibrant. You want it bright. You want it spinning fast. It's fire. It wants to move.
Right.
Okay. So if you're working on this thing and it's dull and sluggish, you've got some needed work as far as that goes. Okay, a yellow aura in the aura signifies hardworking, exceptional, analytical mind, okay, strong observational and communicative skills. Okay. Then that's yellow. That's the color association. All right, now let's get into the functions of it. The physical functions of the solar plexus: digestive system, skin, diaphragm, small intestines, solar and or gastric plexus, sight, and the eyes.
Interesting. Okay.
It's over that.
Okay.
Well, again, it's the most potent of the fire signs, so it's going to be about sight. It's going to be about color. It's going to be about radiance. It's going to be about vibrancy, and demonstrating.
Mm.
And then again, the radiating is unbelievably important because the radiating is from your core out. It's how you radiate. And that's what your solar plexus does for you in all sorts of forms. Socially, personally. And again, that's why it's part of your identity.
Right. Okay.
It tells you who you are. And it tells everybody else who you are on that. However, it is not your personality. It's just a part of it. It's the ego part of your personality. Okay? It's also over pride. Okay? There's huge debates on pride, especially in the spiritual community about whether it's good, whether it's bad.
Right, absolutely.
And the thing about pride is, pride in check is good. Pride unchecked is not. So when they talk about, the sin of pride, it's the unchecked aspect of it. And one way to get around that is to think of the difference between pride and proud. Pride is generally self-directed. Pride of your own accomplishments. Okay. But it also will take on a superiority complex. It has a habit of doing that.
Absolutely.
Well, because I could run faster than you, I'm a better person than you are. I'm more popular than you. Blah 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 blah. It's that thing.
Right.
Okay, that we all have to come to grips with, and that's essentially school, where we start learning all of those lessons in school. And it's why teenagers can be so mean to each other, because you're testing it out, learning how it works. But proud, on the other hand, is generally directed at other people. You're proud of, and you could be proud of your accomplishments. But generally, you can also take pride in your accomplishments. So it's almost the same thing. However, it's hard to take pride in somebody else's accomplishments. And if you're doing that, that's where you've gone off the rails. Because you shouldn't be taking pride in other people's accomplishments. You can be proud of their accomplishments, but you shouldn't be taking pride in them, even though you can be proud of them. Because when you take pride in them, it's self-directed. It's almost like, wow, I'm really proud that they were able to do that, but it's all on me,
Right.
And I've done that before. I've done it with my daughter in a few instances. Where and I haven't meant it that way, but it's come off that way, and it's like, whoa, no, it's on you. You're the one that did it, and I'm proud of you doing it, and I'm sorry that I took some of that accomplishment away by trying to, actually take credit for some of that, because I shouldn't have done that. That's not how you're supposed to work pride. Which is why, for me, I draw a line between pride and proud, because, like I said, there isn't an overlap as far as using the words.
Right.
In what's the word I'm looking for? In communicating.
Right.
It, or writing it, or verbally. So for me, proud is other people's, pride is mine. And pride without humility is dangerous. It's unbelievably dangerous. If you don't have humility, your pride is going to go unchecked, and you're going to be a very lonely, alienated person.
Absolutely.
For the most part, because that's what it does.
It does.
You stop trusting everybody. You stop thinking people are going to try to take credit for your stuff. I mean, it just goes, and it can go insane. And humility comes in and goes, you're not all that. You're not all that. And even if you were, you're the only one that cares.
Right.
And is it really that big a deal? And the answer is no, it's not that big a deal at all. Okay. So again, that's one of the big things that we need to take from them. And your solar plexus has that in its core. Okay. On the other hand, if you didn't have an ego, because there's a lot of things out there that say, get rid of the ego.
Yeah, you want to transcend the ego.
You can't do that. Because if you truly transcend the ego, you have no will to do anything. It's gone. Your willpower's gone.
Mm.
If you have no ego. There's no point in trying in accomplishing anything. Why would you do anything?
Right.
There's no point to it. You know. Again, the endocrine gland that it's over is the pancreas. Okay. Reduces high blood sugar levels in the body, and increases low blood sugar levels, and that's what it does. You know, it's over insulin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so sugar. And when it's out of whack, it causes issues. When it's really out of whack, it causes diabetes. And in regulating all of that, especially in this country, you know, the United States, we have such a sugar problem. It's not even funny. Sugar's in pretty much almost everything.
Yeah, it is.
And, you know, we go out of our way to increase our levels all the time. Caffeine and sugar. That seems to get what most people through their day. Okay. A long time ago, it was more caffeine than it was sugar. Because I mean, back in the day, so to speak, you'd go to like a gas station and you get a cup of coffee.
Right.
Okay. Now, you go to Starbucks and you get coffee and caramel and you get so much stuff in there that it's almost like drinking a pop. So you get an overdose of caffeine and sugar.
Right.
And it's unhealthy because it throws your body off. And when you think about it in the terms of that, it's the solar plexus, and the solar plexus is your sun. It's throwing your core off, your entire core off. And I drink sugar. I mean, I'm not going to say that I don't do that.
We all do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And we all, sugar's there. And when it's balanced, it's fine. Because you know, it's not like you don't need it. You need some sugar. Get you through the day. It can also blow you up. It can also cause you to be unbelievably hyper, which we all know who have kids. Not to give a lot of sugar to your kid before you have to put him to bed. You don't do that.
Right.
You know. And if you're giving them sugar, let them go outside. Let them run around. You got to give them something to do. You know, boys probably a little more than girls because they need to burn it off and go crazy with it. But not to say that girls don't need that also. They do. They just regulate it differently.
Right.
Okay. So as far as the pancreas goes, unbelievably important. Now we're going to talk about the planet. It's the sun. And again, the sun it's the most potent planet in your chart. You know, anybody that reads a horoscope, it's your sun sign.
Right.
Right? And it rules Leo. So it's how you express yourself creatively in any way. It's not personal expression. It's not spiritual expression. It's creative expression, which means any way you're trying to show how you do anything is your sun. And your sun sign flowing through it. Okay. So it's not reflective of that. Leo is reflective sun sign of the sun. The refracted sign is the sign it's in when you're born. So for me, it's Sagittarius. So I've got Sagittarius funneling through or being focused through my sun. Okay. And when people see me, especially people that know a bit about astrology, a lot of the times they can pick it out. Sag. Right away. Even though the ascendant and the personality, that's Aries, not Leo. That's more Mars. But your true self, your true identity is your sun sign. So I can come off like my ascendant when I first get to know somebody. As they get to know me, however, they'll start seeing that Sagittarius energy and start understanding that no. That's just how he kind of appears. This is what he is. The goofy, weird stuff I do at work, stuff like that.
Right.
That's what it is. Okay, it's all about individuality. This is who I am, and I need to express who I am in a creative way. So if you do karate, if you do dance, if you write a book, it doesn't really matter. Anything creatively that you do that expresses yourself in any way is Leo. That's the importance of it. That's the potency of it.
Interesting. Okay.
So anything that you do, when you demonstrate anything, is your sun. And your sun sign determines essentially how you're going to do it. You're going to do it through this energy. This is how it's being done. The sun is going to focus it, and this is the energy it's focusing it through. Boom. There you go. And this is how it's going to come out. Okay. It's essence, and it flows through development, and it develops the ego for growth. You can't grow without your ego. You can't do it. Okay. And without the ego, nothing is accomplished. Sun allows forms, ability of creative action. That's another thing that it does. So even if you're a mechanic and you're all, well, no, I'm all earth energy. You're not. Because if you're making things and they're doing things, that's your sun. That's Leo. Okay. Positive expressions of it. Radiance, vitality, essence, pride, courage. It's majestic, it's royal, and it's regal. Okay. So a lot of kingly things. Okay. And the lion is associated with Leo.
Right.
And kings in general are associated with that. And that's where a lot of the pride comes in, better than. Because unfortunately, when people in those positions, a lot of them take it to that level. Well, I'm better than everybody because I'm in charge of everyone. It's like, well, that doesn't actually mean that. That just means you're in authority. That's all it really means.
Right.
Okay. And it is also authority leadership. It's generous, it's purposeful action, and it's, again, creative expression. Okay. Negative aspects: unconfident, lazy, egocentric, insensitive, self-centered, okay, and conceited. Okay. Those are the aspects you need to keep under control. That's where humility comes into play. It's not all about you. There are other things in the world that are more important than you are. Yes, you want to accomplish things, but you don't want to, after you're done accomplishing things, don't throw it in everybody's face. Nobody likes that. Well, I'm the best, blah, 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 blah. And we've heard people do it. Generally, a lot of celebrities do these kinds of things. Sports celebrities, people like that.
Right.
Well, I'm the greatest blah of all time, and I'm this blah, 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 blah. Let's say you're basketball, and you're like, okay, so you're the greatest at throwing a ball through a hoop and running up and down a court, and yay. But in terms of life, that's not that important.
Right.
The only thing that's important for is entertaining other people watching you do it. But as far as the world is concerned, that's not a major skill to have anymore.
Right.
There was a time it was when we were all hunters and gatherers, sure. Because if you were the strongest and the baddest, yeah, you went out there and you did your thing and you fed everybody and you did this. Okay. But at the same time, you need humility for that, because there's going to come a time where you get older and you can't do that anymore, and somebody else comes in.
Right.
Okay. And humility allows you to make that transition more harmonious, because you understand you only have that for a while, and now it's somebody else's, and now you can help them through experience instead of having it all be about you. Okay. So, then we have the sun. The sun is about projection. Solar plexus, you project out of it. You do take energy into it, but you project more out of it than you take in.
Right.
Okay. It is your essence. It is radiance. And again, we talked about radiating from the core out. It's your core, and that's what it does. Okay. When we talk about running energy up and down the chakra systems, it's going to start in Aries. That's where it gets motivated, but it's going to blast out of your solar plexus in Leo. I mean, that's where it's coming from. Okay. So it is I will. That's what it wants. That's its desire. I will. I will do this. I will. I will. I will. I will. That's what gets you up. That's what gives you moving. If there's no I will, you don't do anything. Okay. So it's again, it is the center of our will. That's what it is. Okay. Okay. It expresses individual potential.
Okay.
Potential just sits there.
Okay.
It needs that fire. And that's what it's doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's going, okay, I've got all this potential. I need to do something with it. I need to express it, and this is what I'm going to do. And that's what it does. Okay. After it's motivated, it goes, poof, well, this is how I'm doing it. Okay. Yeah, I'm motivated to do this, but now what? That's when Leo kicks in. Hey, I'm going to do it this way. Okay. So it is fire, spirit, life. It's animated. It's vital. It's fun. It's joy. It's exciting. Okay. And it's motivating. Motion, heat, brightness, colors. It's all of that. It's movement. It's motion. And it's the most potent of that because that's what Leo is.
Right. Right.
And that's what it rules. Is that. It is momentum and direction. I'm going to do something, and this is how. You know, and that's what fire essentially is. Okay, it's hot and dry. Okay, positive expressions, again, it's energy, it's courage, it's spontaneity, sorry, inspiration, it's bold, and it penetrates. Leo is the most of the penetrating energy that we have. Okay, so when you're working on healings or anything where you need to dig deep into somebody, put a lot of energy into someone, and you need it to sink in to the depths, Leo's doing it.
Okay. Interesting.
Leo is what penetrates it through. Okay. Then some sort of air comes in, and you can concentrate it with the air. You can saturate it with water, and you can consolidate it with earth. Okay. And then, you know, spiritually through aether, you can animate all of it. Okay. But the penetrating part, that's fire. That's what it does. That's what heat does.
Okay.
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 It's also colors. It's light. And all color comes from light. Because in darkness, there is no color, for the most part. Okay. It comes from light energy and heat and vibration. It starts vibration.
Right.
Because that's what movement does, motion does. All colors are different frequency vibrations. So yeah, it's over all the colors. It's over all vibration. Okay. Okay. When we talk about the auric field, okay, and the role that the solar plexus plays, the color, of course, we talked about earlier, and it's yellow. Okay, and what this energy does for the aura is it picks up the true essence of what broke the auric field. Okay, what broke through, what came through it. Okay, because each color matches up to a chakra, and it tells us something. This tells us the absolute true essence of whatever it was. Is it good? Is it bad? That's the importance of it.
Mm-hmm.
That ability to say, okay, what just happened? And it's the part that's able to identify.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. That's unbelievably important, especially when you're talking about the auric field, because so many things break through it.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
All the time.
It's the one that identifies. Okay, don't need to worry about that. That I do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, boom, that's a cat. Boom, that's a person. I need, okay. Okay. Or even if it is an animal, breaks through. Is it hungry? Is it scared? Is it attacking? Those kind of things. Okay. And then it's the present, it's the demonstration,
Mm-hmm.
where Aries is the presentation, how you present everything. Okay. The solar plexus is how you demonstrate it. And that's why it's so important.
Mm.
Now, we have to talk about certain things with, so we talk about this later on, earlier in the video, talk a little bit about it, but we're going to talk about the ego, negative and positive aspects of the ego now. Okay, when we're talking about the ego, like I said, the ego there are good things about it. Most people focus on the negative, so we're going to start with the negative aspects of it. Blaming others for your misfortunes, belittling others to elevate your status, using gossip to damage reputations, being preoccupied with appearances or positions in life, feeling jealous, envious, and resentful. It's not the feeling of it, it's expressing it.
Mm.
That's the problem with Leo. Scorpio can feel it and keep it secret. Leo doesn't do that.
Right.
And your solar plexus doesn't do that either. And your sun doesn't. Your sun goes, ah! And it's like, oops. Okay. Okay. It will abdicate self-responsibility. Okay. It's all about self-pity. Okay. Speaking truth that cuts or wounds other people. It'll do that too. Your ego does a lot of crazy stuff. It sets unrealistic goals that you can't reach. Okay.
Okay.
It wants to help itself and not others. And if it does help others, it wants credit for it. Okay? Which in some terms that's not a horrible thing. There are times where you're like, hey, I donated all this money to help, and I'm not going to be the guy that stands behind. I'm going to be the one that says, yeah, I did this. That's cool. As long as it's not the reason you did it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And it's manipulative. You express manipulation through it. And it's just not a great thing. Okay? And it has this necessity for respect. Even when it's not deserved, it needs respect. Okay? Some of the positive expressions, the ego is self-confidence. It's resilient. Okay? It's a coherent sense of identity. I know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And you need that in life. You need to know who you are, or you're going to be led by every person you meet in every direction they want you to go.
Right, right.
You need that. No, this isn't me. This isn't what I want. This isn't how I am. This isn't what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So when we talk about Earth and function, structure, purpose, your ego is what determines where you're going to go with that thing, how you're going to express it. And it bases itself off a lot of different things, but it's the driving force behind it. Okay? It's also self-awareness. I'm here. It's, again, that identity, that individuality, who you are. Okay? It creates a positive self-image of yourself, for yourself. Because if you have a negative self-image for yourself, you'll never do anything either.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're always going to be in the either victim, you'll go into the victim mode, or you don't have the confidence to try to do anything.
Okay. Okay.
Okay? It creates a sense of open-mindedness. You can be open to ideas and still go, well, it's a good idea, but it's not for me.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea is decent. Okay? And positive self-talk, where you can talk about yourself in a positive way. Okay, but without bragging.
Mm.
Okay, and there's a fine line,
Yeah, right.
you know, because bragging turns people away.
Mm.
And talking about your accomplishments all the time drives people away. But if you do it in a way that can help motivate someone, it usually doesn't. It usually draws them in. Because people like people who accomplish things.
Right.
Because it gets them to think, well, hey, this person can do it, I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you get to around the person that goes, well, I've accomplished all these things, I can do it, you can't. So you need to follow me. Kind of a place. Okay? Okay, and now let's talk about pride. You know, when we talk about it, you know, we talk about 7 deadly sins, pride. It's the first one, and some would say that it's the most powerful of them.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, and we're going to talk about healthy pride and unhealthy pride. Unhealthy pride, an overly favorable evaluation of the self based on giving oneself too much credit for accomplishments that typically are rather modest. And people do this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm the best, blah, 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 blah. And most people are like, I don't even know what that is. What does that even mean? Who cares?
Right.
Okay. And overvaluing one's accomplishments is probably one of the things that fuels it the most. Okay. So you do something and you feel good and you get that boost. And you're like, yeah, I did that. I did that. And then you're like, yeah, I did that. And nobody else in this room did it. I guess that means I'm better than that.
Right. Yeah.
And then I guess that means I get to tell everybody what they should be doing in their life, even though it has absolutely nothing to do with anything I've accomplished. Okay. And the problem is that people will actually look up to people like that.
Mm-hmm.
And go, ooh, they did this. And pride is usually very flashy.
Right.
But that's all it is. It's just flashy. And we can talk about, like, let's say celebrities. Okay. I give more credit to, I talked about it before, to somebody who's really good at sports than I do somebody who's good at acting. Because acting is playing pretend.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you break it down to what it really is, it's playing pretend. You're not the characters you play. You don't have the skills of the characters you play.
Right.
Okay? You just entertain people, and you're good at entertaining people by being able to pretend you're someone else so well that other people buy it for a limited time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? The problem is that those type of things feed the ego because people start buying into who you were or who they think you were and who your character was.
Right.
This unreal thing that they saw on the screen, and then they see it and they're like, ooh, that's who that is. And it's like, no, that's not who I am. That's somebody I played. It's like those people, well, I'm not a doctor, but I played one on TV, so you should listen to me about what drugs you should be taking. Excuse me? Wait a minute. How did that? Whoa, whoa, whoa,
Yeah,
whoa.
Yeah.
How does that factor in?
Pump the brakes there, fella.
Yeah. So, the overvaluing is the problem. Okay. And it usually will take credit for things even if other people were involved.
Okay.
And I'm trying to remember the name of the comedian. There was a comedian, Bill Burr, was talking about Steve Jobs and the fact that he had a problem with him, and that was his problem with him, is that he would come out in his jeans and his sport coat and things in front of these people and start talking about all these accomplishments and stuff, and it's like, dude, you didn't do any of that. That's what Bill Burr's whole routine was about. You had a whole bunch of people behind you doing all of these things. You just like walked in a room and went, hey, I want this in that phone, do it. And other people accomplished it, and he took credit for it.
Right.
Was why he used to just rag on him to the extent that he did. Okay, and those are the negative aspects of pride,
Mm-hmm.
and it is a problem. It's a major problem, especially in our society. Pride is horrible.
Right.
Okay, same thing if you go real negative with it, like the attitude of a drug dealer. Oh yeah, I make all this money, and I'm this dangerous person. Blah blah blah. It's like, yeah, and you feed off. Essentially, it's parasitic.
Mm.
You feed off the addictions of other people around you, and you push them further into it, and act like you're not. But that's exactly what you're doing because it makes you more money.
Right. Yeah.
And that's the horrible part of it. Okay. Now, healthy pride is about self-confidence. Okay. Reflecting and intrinsically motivating. The can-do attitude. I can do this. I can do this. The train. I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. I think. Leo's like, okay, stop thinking about it. Let's go.
Right.
We're doing it. Okay. Okay. People with pride like this, the positive aspects, they find their achievements satisfying. Okay. And it breeds wanting to keep succeeding. And succeeding creates success. And that's when you get these people that are like, well, don't stop trying. Because you're going to fail more, they all say it. The ones that are successful always say
Right,
you're going to
yeah.
fail a lot more than you're going to succeed.
Right. Right.
And you have to just learn from your failures, and you get that boost from your successes.
Mm-hmm.
And other people will attack you along the way, and a lot of it has to do with their pride. Because their pride gets, hurt. What do they call that? Butt hurt. The pride gets butt hurt because they didn't do it. You did.
Right.
And the big difference is that it's not instant gratification where the negative aspects of pride, they are. Because you take too much in achieving things.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, I got out of bed and I brushed my teeth. Yeah, I'm the greatest person in the world. Well, okay. We all did. Yeah, but I brushed my teeth better than you. Great. Good for you. But the positive aspects and the positive aspects of the ego understand that the payoff may not hit right now for the work that you're doing. It's going to come later. And so generally what they do is they go, I accomplished this. I'm also working on accomplishing that, accomplishing that, accomplishing that, and accomplishing that, so that they have that overwhelming, I'm going to call it dopamine because it's not all dopamine release, but that's kind of the feeling you get from it, that blissful feeling all the time, because they've got one after, and then it'll dip down because there's a failure. But they're always moving forward to something and living off the good feelings of the achievements they've already had, moving them towards achievements that they haven't had yet. And they focus on the present of getting there instead of feeling it, so to speak. That instant gratification where you don't have to do anything and you just, like drug addicts. And all of a sudden, there it is, the payoff. Boom. You get this crazy, great feeling. And then it goes away, and there's no sense of accomplishment, so you feel worse than you did before you did it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you didn't do anything in order for the payoff to make you feel better.
Okay.
So there's no pleasure in the accomplishment itself. It's not like, hey, I scored a bag of whatever, Yeah. That's not what's the accomplishment. The accomplishment is I can now put it in my pipe and smoke it and feel that great feeling that people do when they accomplish things without having to have accomplished anything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a horrible way to live. It's a horrible way to live.
Right.
Because you essentially let everybody down around you because you're only focused on yourself and your own accomplishments and you don't care about theirs. You know, I was stuck in that mode for a while in life. And it sucks to be there because, and from my experience anyway, I didn't realize I was there. I didn't. When the reality hit me, it really sucked because I had been there longer than I would have wanted to be.
Right.
And then all of a sudden I looked around and was like, wait a minute, am I really like this? And it's like, yes, you are. You know, and that's when the humility kind of comes in and it's like, you're not all that. Look at you. You're what? What have you done? You know, you haven't cared about any of these people around you who care about you. And that makes you feel good, but you're not reciprocating at all. How can you forget this? How can you forget that? How can you not do that? How can you not say, hey, awesome, let's go? You know, a lot of them will have a tendency to just point out the negatives in things or give backhanded compliments. And that's even worse.
Right.
Hey, I won my track meet. Yeah, that was great. But you know what? You weren't as fast as you were on the track the other day. Why did you need to throw that in at the end? Because you just took their sense of accomplishment and just stomped on it hard and made it not really worthwhile. You know, hey, I showed up to my kid's whatever game. Great. Are they the best? No, that's why I didn't go. Those are other parents. Well, I'm not going to show up to this thing if you're just going to go.
Wow.
If you're not going to strive to be the best, why should I even care? You know, there are people out there that are like that. And the problem is that it makes the person that looks up to you, it makes them look down on themselves and kills and kind of puts them into the negative aspects of their pride and ego. Because then it's like, you know what? I'm the best at everything I do. No one's ever going to hurt me again. These walls go up. Bam.
Right.
And it's like, whoa, you can't do that either.
Yeah.
You know, but you need to do that. Even if somebody did something that pissed you off like 2 hours before. Because let's say, you know, the kid acts up and you had to take them out of the shopping cart because they were just screaming and being a maniac. And you're like, you know what? I'm not dealing with this. And they think, well, you know, they're not going to do anything because we need to go grocery shopping. And you pick them up out of the cart and just leave everything in the cart and walk out the store. You know, and you're upset and you're mad. And you put them in the car and you go home and you're still mad and you're still upset. You get home and they go in their room and you go in the kitchen and you're still brewing over it. Okay. And they go and they accomplish something on their own because they don't remember it. It goes right out of their mind.
Right.
You know, ooh, geez, boy, that sucked. But you're a kid, so the next thing comes up, and you're like, hey, let's do this. And you're like, hey, I did this, and you just look at them and go, great. And that's kind of what you get because you're still pissed off at them for the incident at the store, and they have no idea, and you just crushed what they did, even if it was something they're good at, because that's how they know. Because generally, especially if it's your own kid, or if it is a child around you, that's what they do. They come to you and say, you know, was this cool? Was this, you know?
Right.
And when you're like, yeah, that's great. Because you're so mad at them, they don't understand that. They think, oh, okay, I guess that wasn't that great. And they go off and do something else. And it's like, well, you just killed that ambition. And it could have been something that they were good at, unbelievably good at. And we all kind of do that at times because we're all human. So it's not like, bam, every time you do it, you should just denigrate yourself and, no. But you need to keep yourself in the moment of things, especially with a child. It's like, hey, did that, took them out of the shopping cart, and they're not going to shop with me for another 3 months or a month. And that was the end of that. And you need to understand that was the end of that. They did something, you reacted, that was it. As long as you keep your word, you're good.
Right.
And then you're good with them. They're good with you. You can't hold on to those things just because it pissed you off at the time or embarrassed you or humiliated you or whatever. Because that's what actually happens. If they're screaming in a shopping cart and there's no one around, you usually don't get that upset.
Right.
Or you can overscream them. Because, you're an adult and you have your lungs are bigger.
Right.
And you can drown them right out. But you're not going to do that in front of a bunch of other people because they're all going to look at you like, what is wrong with you? Now there's more screaming. But a lot of it is embarrassment. And again, that's an ego thing.
It is.
You made me look bad in front of these people. You hurt my social identity. Okay. That wasn't why. I just wanted a toy. I didn't do it to hurt your social identity. I wanted a toy. Or, or I wanted this. Or I wanted to be the center of attention. Because a lot of times that's what it is too. Hey, pay attention to me. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to act up. Or sometimes they did want to hurt your social identity because they wanted to embarrass you, humiliate you, because they're mad at you about something. And you let them do it. And it's just as bad to ignore them when they do it. Because they can just continue to do it, and then they think, I can do anything I want anytime I want.
Right.
Or they think they don't care. And that can be even worse. Especially for a child's self-worth. Well, when my friends do this, their parents get mad and do something about it to correct the behavior. I mean, that's not what they're thinking, but that's what they're getting. And my parents don't do that because they don't care enough about me to want me to fix my behavior. And then they'll act worse, and then they'll act worse, and they'll act worse, and then it becomes a habit, and they just continue to do it, and it's over. But getting back to the solar plexus, that's what's in control of all of this. That's why it's such an important chakra to understand. And understanding the ego and understanding pride and being able to harmonize and balance them out.
Right. Absolutely.
That's the key.
So
that's the key to the solar plexus energy.
Healthy, well-functioning solar plexus will help keep you in the present moment.
Well, it keeps you in the present moment, but it also it's not just keeping you in the present moment. It's keeping your self-worth up in the present moment.
Right.
That's what it's doing. It's giving you that sense of, okay, this is how I function. Okay, I have this, my structure is great, and I understand what my purpose is. It keeps you there. Even when you're moving destinies, it keeps your fate in line. And it doesn't take you down. Where you're like, I hate my life, I hate my job, I hate my my family or whatever. I hate my kids, I hate my wife, they just drive me crazy, blah, blah, blah. Where a lot of people get into those moments in the present. And it takes them down. It makes them feel like they're worthless, or that's where the loser mentality comes in. I'm a loser. I don't interact with my kids. I'm a loser. They know I'm a loser. My wife knows I'm a loser. Blah 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 blah. All that kind of stuff. And it's like it takes you out of that, and it brings you into. Well, I'm not. I'm just different. I'm me. This is who I am. Take it or leave it, kind of a thing. And if somebody leaves it, you got to. It gives you the ability to be okay with it.
Right.
Okay. If they don't want me around, I'm not going to be around. Right? Or when I am around, I'm not going to care. But they don't really care that I'm here because I like being here, so I'm going to be here. Instead of having it destroy them and ruin you. And that's that true self-identity and that self-worth.
Mm-hmm.
Is I don't care what you think about me. I know who I am. I know why I'm here. And I'm not here, and this is not all I am.
Mm-hmm.
What you're seeing is not all that I am. And what you place value on may not be what I place value on.
Right.
To the extent that you do. So because it's not that important to me, you think I don't care about anything, but when this is what's more important to me. But you don't understand it because it's not that important to you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. Except you should look for that in other people and go, no, that's actually great because it's not important to me. I'm not doing it. Somebody has to do it. It's important to you, do it. And be the best at it because somebody has to.
Right.
Go,
Right.
do it. Good God. All right. Sweet.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point.
Mm-hmm.
And then, the whole point of humility and charity and all of that and helping people and doing that, it's all going to come from that. The generosity of Leo. That's the generosity. Giving. Even though Leo itself needs a little credit for it. It needs to know that it did it. It's that aspect of it.
Okay.
Okay. It's not the one that goes, I'm going to write, here, I'm going to pay for everybody's grocery bill. These next 10 people, just tell them when they come through the line, it's already been paid, and then leave. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great thing to do. That's humility. I mean, that's major humility because you don't need anything. But that's also your ego's self-worth, saying, yeah, I can be generous, and it'd be really cool to take credit for it, but you know what? I don't always have to.
Yeah, it's not something that's
even though
necessary.
Leo likes to.
Right.
It likes to bask in that kind of glory. But that part of wanting to bask in that glory drives it to the negative aspects of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if you can be generous and not care, that's better than taking credit for it. I mean, it really is.
Mm-hmm.
Except there are exceptions. And I would say one of the exceptions is if you're, let's see who's good at doing it. But Johnny Depp, when he dresses up as the Captain Jack Sparrow and goes to the children's hospitals.
Right.
You can't do that and not be in the spotlight.
Mm-hmm.
You're taking credit for it, but that's part of the joy that everybody around is getting from you being there. Is because you are to them you're Captain Jack Sparrow. You're in there as Captain Jack Sparrow.
Right.
Or you're in there as Johnny Depp as the star, and you're giving up your time and so at the same time you're teaching people, hey, don't just be out for yourself, help other people.
Right.
Give up your time for others. And it's not always going to be feel good because a lot of times when you go into situations like that, you don't come out feeling great because you're around sick people and you're around people that might not survive. You boosted them, and that can be a boost for you, but the overall feeling because of where you are can be a downer. It's like doing banishments. You're there to help and everything's great and everything's, let's do this. But again, and I've talked about this many times, 80% of what you're doing is negative that you're walking into. Bad things have happened. Bad things are affecting people. You're there to deal with that. And you do.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's that 20%, feel good, until you realize these people don't ever want to see me again. Because if they have to call me, something's happened.
Right. You remember that.
So I'm here for this.
Yeah.
Well, other than that, have a nice day. Thank you so much. Really glad that you came here, but I don't ever want to have to see you again. Okay.
Mm.
And you have to be okay with that too.
Right.
You know, and that breeds humility, being in those, or else you get sucked into the darkness you're trying to get rid of.
Right.
You know, and again, you have to. You can't do it all the time. You have to come out of that, or else it's going to affect you. It will. But anyway, so that's the unbelievably important aspects of the solar plexus and the solar plexus chakra. And when you're working on that, you're working on your core. It's an unbelievably important chakra to work on.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And to understand. And you have to understand that because it's connected to the pancreas, you have to regulate your blood sugar, or you're messing up your core as far as energy flow goes. So there is a direct correlation there. Okay, and it wants to move, and so doing this, even if you're doing this, okay, or just doing this to the TV, is not helping your core. Your core wants to move.
Right.
You know, that's why I tell everybody stretch, do these things, you know, get exercise, go out, you know, even interacting with people. You know, it's, again, social identity. Get out there, interact with everybody. Okay? It's your creative identity. It's who you are. Have fun, joy, express yourself, express how you feel, express what you're doing. Okay? And again, that generosity aspect, you want people to see that. Because when they see it, it makes people feel better.
It makes people feel better.
When you're around people that are having fun, you want to have fun.
That's exactly it, is you can influence people towards that same end as well.
Yes, yes.
You know,
and it's very social. It gives you that sense of fellowship. I'm a part of something bigger than me. Yes, perfect.
Right.
And we're all having fun. Perfect. Okay? And everybody individually is having fun. And that makes for the group to have fun.
Right.
You know? And that's where, again, proud in other people's accomplishments. And you're kind of a part of it, and that's nice. It's a nice feeling to have. That's the whole fellowship of church thing. For people who go to church. That's a great one. That's what you're looking for. That's that connection you want to feel. And it's your core coming out and going, I needed this. I needed this. I needed this interaction with people. You know, I need to feed off their joy too. It's nice. You know, it's not in a parasitic way because we're all kind of bolstering each other's energy.
That's exactly it.
And the ones that are down, we're trying to bolster theirs. Right? So you don't want to be like, what's that lady's name? Debbie Downer. You don't want to be like Debbie Downer. Bring everybody down with you. Ugh.
Yeah.
Okay? But anyway, so that's the solar plexus chakra. And, you know, that's why it's unbelievably important to work the energy of the solar plexus. And for, you know, those of you watching the video, it's the chakra you want to work the most. Not the brow. Sorry. It's the solar plexus. Okay? The solar plexus chakra is as psychic as the brow chakra is. Because the brow chakra is just a reflection of it. It's just easier to pull it through the brow chakra because it's diluted. Okay? But it has to go into your core. All right. I think that's all I got for today.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And we do look forward to seeing you next time. Do remember to like, subscribe, and share.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you.